The bus screeched to a halt near the hostel gates, and Zartaj's heart fluttered as she and Hina stepped off into the stillness of the night. The market crowds and city noise had faded into the background, leaving only the hum of distant traffic. Her legs trembled with fatigue, but the sight of the hostel, even in its worn, familiar state, felt like a lifeline. Maham was already waiting at the gate with two other girls from their group, Aisha and Nimra. The moment Zartaj and Hina approached, Maham rushed forward, concern etched across her face. Maham, anxiously. Thank God you're okay. What happened? You sounded terrified on the phone. Zartaj, panting, glancing over her shoulder. It was her, Maham, the woman who's been following me. She tried to abduct me. There was another girl with her. I barely got away. Aisha, eyes widening. What? She tried to... Nimra cut her off, her tone more serious. Nimra, shaking her head. Let's get inside first. We'll talk there. The group hurried inside the hostel, Zartaj still casting nervous glances behind her, half expecting the woman or her accomplice to appear from the shadows. The heavy door of the hostel clanged shut behind them, offering a semblance of security. They climbed the stairs to their shared room, and Zartaj collapsed onto the bed, her body aching from exhaustion. Maham, softly sitting beside her. We need to know everything, Zartaj. Who is this woman? Why is she after you? Zartaj, shaking her head, eyes glassy with confusion. I don't know. I swear I don't. But I feel like I've seen her before, maybe a long time ago. She said I have something she needs. Hina, frowning, leaning against the door. What could she want from you? Do you have anything valuable? Zartaj hesitated, her mind racing. She had thought about it 100 times since the stalking began, but she couldn't pinpoint anything specific. Zartaj, frustrated. No, nothing. Just memories, maybe. There's this family heirloom we used to talk about, but I never even had it. My parents mentioned it once, but it was always out of reach, forgotten. Nimra, curious. What kind of heirloom? Zartaj, thinking hard. It was a locket. I barely remember it. My mother told me it belonged to my grandmother, but we lost track of it after my parents passed away. Maham, leaning forward. Could that be what she's after? Maybe it's worth something more than you realize. Zartaj, sighing. I don't know. Maybe. But how would she know about it? And why now? The group sat in silence for a few moments, the weight of the situation pressing down on them. Aisha spoke up, her voice cautious but steady. Aisha, whatever this is, it's not going to stop just because you escaped tonight. We need to figure out who this woman is and why she's so desperate to get to you. Maham, nodding. We'll do some digging. Maybe there's something about that locket, some history you don't know about. Zartaj, nervously. But what if she comes back? Firmly. I can't keep You won't be alone. We're going to watch out for you. We'll make sure she doesn't get near you again. Zartaj managed a small, grateful smile, but inside, fear gnawed at her. She felt like a puzzle piece in a game she didn't understand. The next few days passed in tense vigilance. Maham and the others kept a close eye on the hostel and followed Zartaj everywhere she went. They even managed to gather a few more friends to help, forming a tight circle around her. Hina, quiet but determined, stuck by Zartaj's side the most. They spent hours researching the locket, hoping to find some clue as to why it would be so important. Zartaj dug through her old family belongings, trying to recall anything her parents might have told her about it. One evening, as they huddled around a laptop in the common room, Nimra finally found something. She clicked on an old article, her eyes widening as she skimmed the text. Nimra, excited. Guys, look at this. There's a legend about a missing heirloom from a wealthy family in Lahore. It's an emerald locket, said to be cursed or something. Apparently, whoever possesses it gains control over some family fortune, but it's been lost for decades. Zartaj, stunned. An emerald locket. My mom's locket was green, I think, but she never said anything about it being valuable. Maham, frowning. Maybe your family didn't even know what they had. That woman, maybe she knows its real worth. A chill ran down Zartaj's spine. It made sense in a terrifying way. Could it be that the woman wanted the locket not just for its sentimental value, but for something far more dangerous? That night, as the group prepared for bed, Zartaj lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She felt a deep unease settling in. If the woman truly wanted the locket, and if it was connected to some long-buried family secret, then she was in even more danger than she had realized. A soft knock at the door startled her. Maham opened it cautiously. One of the hostel guards stood outside, his expression grave. Guard, whispering, "There's a car outside. It's been parked there for hours. I think someone's watching the hostel." Zartaj's heart dropped. The woman hadn't given up. She was still out there, waiting. Maham turned to Zartaj, her face pale but determined. "Maham, we'll figure this out, Zartaj. We'll protect you, but you have to be ready. This isn't over yet." Zartaj nodded, fear gripping her chest once more. She didn't know how, but she knew Maham was right. The game had just begun, and the stakes were higher than she'd ever imagined.